like to make a statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earlier this week, we received news that Niel Palmieri, the former Director of the Division of Facilities Management, pled guilty in federal court to criminal charges pertaining to mail fraud relative to his employment at the county. We are outraged by this former employee's reprehensible actions, which occurred between January 2006 to September 2010. The county will pursue every legal means available to it to ensure full and complete restitution of all losses resulting from this crime. With regard to our procurement process, we comply with the New Jersey State, the local public contracts law, and the local fiscal affairs law. As an added level of protection this year, we've also created and started the asset management system for the effective management and acquisition of county assets and property. While no procedure is ever foolproof, we have zero tolerance toward theft and corruption in county government and applaud the prosecution of those who perpetrate such actions. It is important to stress that the actions of one person are not representative of the organization as a whole. County employees are committed to serving the public and maintaining the public trust. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Up on the Niel Palmieri problem, the county manager has stated that a new asset management system is put in place. Those are really big words. Maybe he could explain them to me as to what an asset management system is. If it's just a computer program, I'm not sure that's going to do the trick, because if the person who's writing the PO is responsible for the procurement and the stating that it actually was bought and it arrived here, then we need a better system. And I think the state is going into a system of tracking the use of state vehicles. Maybe we need to do that also with county vehicles, as to make sure that they're being used for county business during county hours and not being used for day trips into New York. So those two things I'd like to follow up on that.
Our asset management system that we just put in place this month. We just put that in place earlier this month, in which, we are tracking, and it gives us the ability to bring all of our asset management systems underneath one so we can track everything in the county. We do have policies, procedures in place, and we do have check and balances. I know since I've stepped on this board, and I know that this entire board has continuously made sure that we are tracking, we understand where our equipment is, and even former freeholder Sullivan, who's in our audience today, who has continuously made sure that we have the systems in place. And you don't utilize just one system. You are going to have to use several systems to make sure that we are complying with policy and procedure, and we have been doing that. Our policy chair, Freeholder Jallo, who has continuously made sure that he and his committee are looking at what we are doing, how we're handling our policies, and if we need to make any adjustments, we are doing that. And we continuously make sure that we are training our directors and our personnel to make sure that they are in compliance, so that we make sure that we know where all of our assets are. County Manager, do you want to say anything in reference to that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up on it, yes, we take these matters very, very seriously. We have implemented the system. Yes, it is a combination of software and a number of systems, as you mentioned, as well as additional control by personnel. And we are going to continually look to try to make this system better, to improve on it, and to do all we can to effectively manage our assets.
Thank you.
Another topic was this criminal activity that just took place, or it took place 3 years ago, people found out. I'm glad to see that you're going to pursue the money that's stolen from us. But I also would like you to pursue that this person does not receive a pension. And if it's against the current rules and policy, I would like you to have a new policy that says anyone on the criminal activity has a pension be eliminated, regardless of it's 1 day, 1 month, 20 years, 30 years. Because if you do not have tough consequences for people who work for us, nonsense like this will continue. When you hit person in the pocketbook, that's when they will think over and over before they do something such as Music Fest, when money was misplaced, when equipment was can't be found, when generators were going elsewhere, and then this gentleman doing the stuff here. You need to hit people in the pocketbook, eliminate their pension. Tough love.
Yes.
Sure, Madam Chair. Two things actually with reference to the prior statement to me in terms of restitution. I've also had an opportunity through the federal courts and the PACER system to review both the plea bargains struck relative to this matter. Both defendants have been ordered to provide restitution of $100,000 to the county, which should make the county whole. That restitution is required to be paid in full prior to sentencing. With reference to the pension, that is entitlement to a pension is determined by the pension board. That is not an issue that the county addresses, but at the same time, given the crime that he has pled to, it certainly occurred based upon the facts presented. It occurred during his employment and touched upon his employment, as a result of which I would believe the forfeiture statute that exists in the state of New Jersey will require him to forfeit his pension. That, at this point in time, given the fact that he has resigned, not attempted to retire, if at some point in the future he made an application for a pension, I would again presume the pension board would deny it. That can be also addressed by either the prosecutor or the attorney general, given the fact that these were federal crime addressed by the U.S. Attorney's Office. I would assume the Attorney General's Office would address that application and post that application, if it ever was made.
Thank you.
Well,
Anyone else who wants to speak at this time?
John Berry, and I'm from the home of the Future World headquarters of Merck, otherwise known as Kenilworth. I've got like three requested the answer, just comments. That pension thing is wrong. It's in the statute 43-1-31-1, and it's happened a lot. You might have already struck a deal. You forfeit the amount of your pension that you were doing the crimes. So he stipulated to 4.5 years. He has 23 altogether. He should be getting 18 years if his lawyer puts up any kind of request. And he's not retiring now, so it'll be 2 or 3 years from now, whatever, and it'll blow over. He's going to get roughly $30,000 a year based on my calculations. He might also get lifetime health benefits, but that's, I don't know if that's within your purview to deny it. But yeah, this is all going back to Niel Palmieri, who I wanted to comment on that. About this zero tolerance thing, it's more of nature. I mean, you could keep track of whatever you want to keep track of, but if you allow chainsaws, generators, beer fest, music fest beer money to go missing, and nobody really, is called for it, or even explained. I mean, George Devaney and Liz Genovitz just kind of retired suddenly after the music fest thing, and they retired. No one. That's just the culture of, if you get caught, we'll hide it and we'll move on. So that's got to change, not necessarily putting a barcode on a chainsaw. I mean, the underlying culture has to change. And I would note that in keeping with the pension Palmieri thing, he stipulated those 4.5 years. He might have been doing this before, he might have been doing this after. And if there were rumors that he was doing it, there should be an internal investigation that started before he told you he was quitting when the federal agents coming in. I mean, it just looks like, nobody's watching these people.
With the question as regards to lifetime health benefits, Mr. Palmieri would not qualify for those benefits.